So I'm sure some of you by now probably think this is a gimmick. It's not. There's a place, actually two locations. It's a pizza place in the state I live in called Slice of the 80s. Okay? My brother likes it. I no longer go into the shops. I don't. My brother used to go there. He likes the pizza, but he'd have me go in with him because he knew I would rage. I'd look at the walls. There would be some 80s style corporate graffiti on the wall. There would be some hair metal stuff, some posters from the 80s, and all that. And that's what it is. And it would make me angry. It would make me rage. We'd get out to the parking lot, and I wouldn't stop insulting that place and what they were about until the time I got home. Every time. I could go today and it would be the same thing. So anyone that thinks, oh, you're doing this for this, that, or the other thing. I didn't like 90s action movies in the 90s. I liked some of the kids' movies from the 80s and 90s when I was a kid, but I judged things not based on when I was a kid, but now. Do they hold up? No? Then they're bad. Period. I don't care what it is. I could have liked it 2 years ago because it was different than everything else. Look back at it now through honesty and just say it's shit. So, like I said, Slice of the 80s, it'll get me to just rant every time because you're a pizza place. You don't need a gimmick. Okay, Little Caesars, you know what their gimmick is? They don't have one. They have cheap stuff. Some of it's borderline food, probably. I'm not saying for sure or anything, so don't sue me on it. You know, people say that about that place. That's all I'm saying. So don't come after me, Little Caesars or its family. But they serve greasy pizza and drinks that they don't have to make, that they just buy. And bread. Why do you need a gimmick for that? You either make good stuff or you don't. If you need all those gimmicks to get somebody in the door, you're doing something wrong. Are you doing it just so you can sell shirts and make a little extra money? Because, well, let's face it, Little Caesars doesn't do that. Domino's doesn't do that. But they don't need to do that. Maybe it's an extra revenue source. Maybe they're just trying to look cool. Whatever the hell the deal is. I cannot stand that place. Right? And a lot of people probably think, well, because you grew up in the 80s and 90s, you lived through all that, it's not new or fresh or different to you or whatever. It was new, fresh, and different at the time, and I didn't care. 80s sci-fi sucks. Overall. 80s action sucks. 80s slashers suck. 80s slashers are just nudity. They wanted to make porn. They couldn't, so they made a slasher. Because that might play in the theater, and they could get that on this side of the curtain at the rental places instead of behind the curtain. That's all there is to it. You can say whatever you want, and this happens with a lot of genres. It's just the same thing with the names changed. Just enough not to get sued by the creator of the original. It's nothing new. It happens all the time, but yeah, this is not some kind of game or whatever I'm putting on for you guys. There's some good stuff from the 80s, there's some good stuff from the 90s. Even with the mainstream, there's some things here or there. But people are doing these blanket things like the 80s are great, the 90s are great, the 2000s are great. No, they weren't. Stop lying to yourself. Be honest. Like what you like. Be honest about why you like it. It's that simple. Stop lying to yourself. Stop lying to others. Stop wasting your time. Stop wasting mine. So, if you want to be wrapped up in nostalgia, okay. Just say, I like being wrapped up in nostalgia. Alright, then that's you. Do what you gotta do. You know what I'm saying? But don't play it off as anything else. Don't play it off as it was better, as it was smarter, as it was something greater than what it was. Because you aren't doing anything for yourself or anyone else when you lie like that about anything. Especially if you're my age and say, the 70s were great, the 80s were great, to some young kid. like times were better back then, that we didn't have all kinds of problems, that the same things weren't happening back then as they are now. The only thing different is the technology. Humans aren't. It is what it is.